empire of fear. As these words are spoken, reports are emerging of the FBI surveilling the Pittsburgh-based Thomas Merton Center, a pacifist and anti-war group named after the late Trappist monk and writer Thomas Merton. The news of surveillance of the center, discovered after the center's lawyer filed a Freedom of Information Act request, reminded me once again that the more things change, the more they remain the same. Reading from the newly released documents under the heading of anti-terror surveillance, one must be reminded of the efforts of the FBI in the late 60s, where under the ruse of anti-communist peace groups were subjected to relentless surveillance. Indeed, according to Frank Donner's exhaustive The Age of Surveillance, published in 1981 by Random House, the abilities of a single FBI and Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police informant, one Robert Merritt, showed this tactic's dangerous potential. Merritt spied on at least 28 separate political, social, and radical groups. Among the overtly anti-Vietnam War groups were the Anti-War Union, the Coalition for National Priorities and Military Policy, and the People's Coalition for Peace and Justice. Among the other groups subject to informer surveillance were the Academy of Political Science, the American Civil Liberties Union, the American Friends Service Committee, the Advocate, a publication of the National Law Center at Washington University, the Black People's Party, the Children's March for Survival, Common Cause, the Furies, a radical feminist publication, Community Bookstore, the D.C. Statehood Party, the Howard University Committee to Free Angela Davis, the Tenants' Rights Workshop, and RAP Incorporated, a local drug rehabilitation program, among other groups. What this shows us is that anybody and everybody was suspect and subject to informants and government surveillance. Here we go again. And again, thanks to the utility of fear, we're seeing how virtually silent people are in this asphyxiation of the alleged constitutional rights of the people. When the Thomas Merton Center is under surveillance because of government suspicion of ties to terrorism, then we're seeing the outer limits of the arrogance of power. Secret prisons, secret prisoners, gulags of torture and death in the Caribbean, Afghanistan, and Iraq, black sites in Eastern Europe, and silence? Every age is its own. It would be silly to hope for the rebirth of the 60s in this day and age. And yet, the time will surely come when children will look to their parents and grandparents and ask, "What did you do, Mommy, when dictatorship came? What did you do when people were thrown into torture chambers? What did you do when people were sent overseas to be tortured? What did you do when the Congress betrayed the Constitution? What did you do? What are you doing?" Fear immobilizes. That is its intent. But hope opens up as spring opens up the earth. Don't recreate the 60s. Make this moment, this day, this era, one of speaking out against the empire. Make it a time for joining together with others who share your fears and your hopes. Make it an age of marching against the madness that assaults our senses. Make it a chance for change, or it will be with us forever. From Death Row, this is Mumia Abu Jamal, author of We Want Freedom, A Life in the Black Panther Party. These commentaries are produced by Noel Hammerhand for Prison Radio.